make sure we send our thoughts and prayers out to everyone affected by Hurricane Sandy. Heartbroken about the lives that have been lost and the damage that it has been done in so many of our communities. And as you know, your president has been working around the clock with governors and mayors and our extraordinary first responders to make sure that they have all of the support and resources they need. And here's the thing, when we face tragedy in this country, we come together. That is the beauty of America, and I know we will continue to come together as one American family to help our fellow citizens recover from this devastating storm. So we cannot do this until we acknowledge what is going on in this country. So I just want to thank you all and keep sending your prayers and your support. I want to start by thanking Wendy for that very kind introduction and for everything she's doing for this campaign. And let's give Wendy a round of applause. Since I visited Florida, Grace Nelson, who is here. Grace, I love you. Thank you for your outstanding job in the Senate, for your husband's job, and thank you for your friendship and your kind words. We love you so much. Especially his devotion to the women in his life. You know? Respect that he had for his own mother. You know, I saw how proud he was that she was able to put herself through school and still support him and his sister as a single mom. And I definitely saw the tenderness he felt for his grandmother. I saw how grateful he was that long after she should have retired, she was still waking up every morning, catching that bus to her job at the community bank. And he also watched as she was passed over for promotions year after year simply because she was a woman. But here's something he learned from her. He saw how she kept on getting up year after year without complaint or regret. See, here's the thing with Barack. I found a real connection because in his life story, I saw so much of my own. You know, growing up on the south side of Chicago, I watched my father make that same uncomplaining journey every day to his job at the city water plant. And I saw how he carried himself with that dignity. You know, that same pride that comes from being able to provide for your family. That same hope that his kids would one day have opportunities he never dreamed of. You know, and here's the thing about this country. See, like so many families in this country, our families weren't asking for much. They didn't want much. And they didn't begrudge anyone else's success. In fact, they admired it. They didn't mind if others had much more than they did. That's why they pushed us to be the very best we could be. But they simply believed in that fundamental American promise that even if you don't start out with much, if you work hard, if you do what you're supposed to do, then you should be able to build a decent life for yourself and an even better life for your kids and grandkids. Believed in something really important as well, that when you worked hard, young people, you hear me, when you worked hard, when you've done well, when you finally walk through that doorway of opportunity, here's what you don't do. You don't slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other folks the same chances that help you succeed. That's how Barack and I know so many of you, that's how we were raised. And more than anything else, that is what this election is all about. It's a choice. It's a choice about our values, about our hopes, our aspirations. It's a choice about the America we want to leave for our kids and our grandkids. What does that America look like? What do we believe in? We believe in an America where every child has access to good schools, schools that push them and inspire them and prepare them for good jobs of the future. We believe in an America where no one goes broke or loses a home because someone gets sick or lost their job. We believe in an America where we all understand that none of us gets where we are on our own. And we treat everyone with dignity and respect, from the teachers who inspire us to the janitors who keep our schools clean. In this America that we are working to build, we believe that the truth matters. And you don't take shortcuts or game the system. And finally, we believe in keeping our priorities is no way to balance our budget. We know better than that. Instead, we need to cut wasteful spending, yes, but we have to make smart investments in things like education and infrastructure for an economy built to last. And that is what my husband stands for. That's the country he's been working to build for 4 years. See, since the day he took office, on issue after issue, crisis after crisis, that is exactly what we have seen in our president. So think back when Barack first took office. Our economy was on the brink of collapse. You don't have to take my word for it. Newspapers were using words like meltdown, calamity, declaring Wall Street implodes, economy in shock. You remember that? See, because the auto industry was in crisis. This economy was losing 800,000 jobs a month. And a lot of folks wondered whether we were headed for another Great Depression. And this is what Barack faced on day one as president. See, but instead of pointing fingers and placing blame, your president got to work because he was thinking about folks like my dad and like his grandmother. And that's why he cut taxes for small businesses and for working families. Because he understands that teachers and firefighters should not pay higher tax rates than millionaires and billionaires. Not in America, that's not right. We know that's not right. And that's why, while some folks were willing to let the auto industry go under, you remember that? You know who I'm talking about? With more than 1 million jobs, you hear me? 1 million jobs that would have been lost. Barack had the backs of the American workers. And that's why today, the auto industry in America is back on its feet again. And while we still have a way to go to completely rebuild this economy, let me tell you, there are more and more signs every day that we're headed in the right direction. Exports have grown by 45%. Manufacturers have added 500,000 jobs. We have had 31 straight months, the majority of this presidency, of private sector job growth. A total of 5.2 million new jobs have been created right here in the United States of America under this president. See, Barack knows that like me and like so many of you, we never could have attended college without financial aid. We would not be standing here if not for financial aid. So, when it comes to student debt, trust me, Barack and I, we've been there. This is not a hypothetical for us. And that's why Barack doubled funding for Pell Grants, fought hard to keep interest rates down on student loans. Because you have a president that understands that every young person in this country deserves access to college in an affordable way. And then finally, when it comes to understanding the lives of women, you know we'll always have our backs because Barack knows from personal experience what it means for a family when women aren't treated fairly in the workplace. And that's why the very first bill he signed into law as president was the Lilly-led Better Fair Pay Act to help women get equal pay for equal work. And that is why he will always, always fight to ensure that we as women can make our own decisions about our bodies and our health care. In her introduction, we cannot forget about that health reform that he passed. Because of that reform, insurance companies can no longer charge women more than men for the same coverage. Also, because of this reform, they won't be able to discriminate against you because you have a pre-existing condition like diabetes or asthma. Our seniors on Medicare are saving hundreds less for their prescription drugs. And as Wendy said, our young folks can stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26 years old. And here's the other thing about Obamacare. If you get a life-threatening illness and you need real expensive care, insurance companies can no longer tell you, sorry, you've hit your lifetime limit and we're not paying a penny more. That is now illegal because of health reform. So here we are, 5 days out. And when you're out there talking to folks, and I know you're going to be out there, right? Yeah. When you're out there talking to to folks who are trying to decide who will keep America moving forward for 4 more years. I want you to tell them a few specific things about Barack Obama. Tell them what he has done for our economy, our health care, and our education. But also remind them that this was a president that ended the war in Iraq, took out Osama bin Laden. This was the president that is fighting every day so that veterans and military families get the benefits that they have earned. Remind them about all the young immigrants in this country who will no longer live in fear of being deported from the only country they've ever called home. Tell them about our brave service members who will never again have to lie about who they are to serve the country they love. If they need to know more, send them to BarackObama.com/plans, our website. They can learn about all the concrete plans that Barack has for the next 4 years to create more jobs, to reduce our deficit, and so much more. But here's what I really want you to tell them about this man. You tell them that Barack Obama knows the American dream because he's lived it.